Good afternoon. I'm Dara Bunjon. I'm the food enthusiast here at Jaymore Living. I'm a food writer, food stylist, PR maven, and a frustrated baker. Those of you joining us live, please drop your comments and questions for my guest or myself into the comment box, and you'll see me turn my head time to time and check and see if we have any questions and comments, and we'll address those. Today's guest is Robin Daumit of Whisk and Dine, where she is the creative director, CEO, on-screen talent, and chief bottle washer. Robin has become a media personality through the Food Network and a PBS cooking series. She has emerged as a food and lifestyle influencer. Newspapers, magazines, and internet periodicals have taken an interest in published stories on her late in life reinvention. She is still proactive with her lifestyle site, Whisk and Dine. Her latest book is Dirt to Dish, and she has a television series in development. Let's bring in Robin.
Wow, that was an intro and a half. I hope I can live up to it.
You'll do fine. I have no doubt. You are always camera ready. That's never an issue here.
Thank
I'm just
you, Dara.
trying to bring up the screen here. What's on your plate to do today other than doing the show?
Actually, I want to make some tea for the film some tea with my fig leaves. I've known for a long time that you can make medicinal teas or flavorful teas with fig leaves, and my fig trees have full of figs, but has beautiful leaves. So I'm going to probably head outside and work on a story with that.
Okay, is it you just steep it? Is there anything else that you would do with those fig leaves?
Well, if you may remember on the PBS show in the finale, I wrapped salmon, fish in fig leaves and roasted them. And they put off a scent that's almost like coconut. So I can either steep them as a tea, or I can dehydrate them with other things like maybe some ginger and orange peels, and then have that as a dry tea.
Well, you're always doing something. It's probably been 3 years. You were on the show the day before the finale of the Great American Recipe Season 1.
It was.
You were in the finale with 2 other people, and we had the conversation, and as much as I wanted to know, you wouldn't tell me because
under contract.
Under contract, you can't tell.
Right.
But many people tuned in and watched. And after the finale, did you gain, I know you gained viewers and things like that, but there any walkaways, anything that really came to you after the show other than viewers?
Yeah. I love doing visual storytelling. I probably love what goes on behind the scenes as much as I do once we're on set. I'm as comfortable with 100 cameras out there as I am just one. And I just decided that there's been a show in my mind for quite a while. So I've taken to writing. I learned how to do script writing, taught myself how to do script writing. And so I've written a script for a television show that I'm hoping to be able to do, and it will include food bloggers, which there's many of us. So yes, that's what I walked away with. I said, I'd like my own show. I'd like to host a show that showcases food bloggers across the United States, because it would market itself, Netflix, because food bloggers have millions of followers.
Right. I think the title's The Camera Eats First.
Here's my little, I did a trailer for myself. I shot the trailer. I was in the thing. It's on YouTube if anybody wants to see. It's called The Camera Eats First, because it does.
Yeah. And I just want to let people know that link hopefully will be coming up with contact information. But anything you want to know about Robin, anything whatsoever, whiskandine.com. Links to all her social media,
Yeah.
which is there everything you can think of, and I think she's made up her own. It's Pinterest, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram,
TikTok.
TikTok.
What's
Okay,
the new in Sky? A
Blue
Substack,
Sky.
Blue Sky. Yeah. Different people are on different places, so you just put out there what you're about, and those people will find you.
I forgot one. LinkedIn.
LinkedIn, of course. Right.
Okay, so, but anything you want to know, let's talk a little bit about Camera Eats first and the concept. I understand it, and I think there might be other people who are, we'll say, food bloggers, influencers, things of that nature that are doing recipes that would be interested to be on the show. So let's talk a little bit about the concept.
Yeah. Well, the idea of the show is that food bloggers each have their own style. They came to food blogging for various different reasons. Either they just really love to cook, or maybe they've had a health issue and they've had to learn how to prepare foods differently for the health issues that they have, and they find their own followers. You've got guys, you've got girls, you've got kids, you've got grannies, you got us all on there. And the thing that makes it fun is that they find their people. Their people find them that like what they do. But I wanted a show that was going to showcase not only what they do, and if you watch the video clip that's on YouTube, I make sure that you understand that you also, there's a twist to it. You have to include one local product where you live in the recipe that you're going to share on that particular episode. Could be anything from a bee farm or your local watermen or farmers or herb gardens or anything that's a product that is made in your area, your hometown, grown, raised, or made. And so I think it gives not only a chance for the blogger to be able to share their story, but it brings those people who are oftentimes behind the scenes and they don't always get to come up front. It could be a vineyard, it could be whatever. And I just think that that gives several people an opportunity to be seen. And you would leave the kitchen of the blogger and go to the place where we're getting the product and get a chance to see a little footage where they are. And I did that. I went on a boat with a waterman and I went to a local farm for some beef for a dish I was going to do. So I played both the host, the camera person, and the story writer. So it's there.
As long as they didn't walk out of frame.
No, everybody was really fun. They had a good time with it.
Yeah, I'm sure. We all care about what we do, and so that's our best subject, just as you are with this. Last time we talked, you had two cookbooks, which was the Muffin Cookbook and the Small Plates.
The World on My Plate.
The World on My Plate. Thank you. I couldn't find it in my notes.
Yeah, it's kind of a tapas type of, and the book is kind of like the size of a tapas plate.
And you self-publish?
Yes.
So everything, I'm telling you folks, a woman of many, many, many talents. And she started this career when she was 60.
I did.
And that was just over 10 years ago. We're not hiding.
That we can do. I just happen to have 4 kids that are always putting a fire under me. So they say, Mom, you can do this, do it. So I do.
I remember when you were starting, I think it's your son in California, the eldest, who had told you to go take courses in film, camera.
Television. It was DCTV. So I took a course at the programs they had there from beginning to end, from writing the script, the story, to filming it, to editing it. So that was really good. He's now in Brazil, so he just left. He was here for the weekend. And but he always comes up with ideas for me and says, okay, do this. Oh, that's a great idea. Okay, I'll work on that.
You lived in Brazil for a while, didn't you?
I did, for 3 years. Yeah, I did. Learned a whole different cuisine than the one I grew up with.
Well, it doesn't hurt to learn the other cuisines, and now we're at a point where they intersect. I remember during the competition in the Great American Recipe, you switched recipes with somebody who was Vietnamese.
Yes.
But you could put your own touch on it.
Yes.
And you were using fish sauce.
I did.
And how you felt like you could use that in other dishes. Fish sauce, those who don't know, adds a saltiness, a brininess.
It does.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. I don't think I really got into it. Growing up, I know that your family was Syrian. What was the family table like growing up when you were young?
Well, I grew up at a time where in our home, I assumed everyone did this. We made everything from scratch. We made our own yogurt, we made our own bread, we rolled our own grape leaves. It's just the way we did things.
Right.
And that stayed with me, and I taught that to my children. All four of my children are wonderful cooks, and they all love to go into the kitchen and make things from scratch. It's, as it turns out, it's healthier. So it's just the way we do.
But I didn't know as a young child if there were certain, I know you said you made everything from scratch. Did the family all sit together? Were both your folks working? Was it, I just always like to learn about the family table.
My father, who is of Scandinavian, German Scandinavian background, and his mother was not a good cook, which is why I think he married my mom, because he loved her food. But he was a rather well-known jazz musician in this area, DC area, in those days. Played with Charlie Bird, and he was a piano player. So he composed music for a lot of other, Dizzy Gillespie and other musicians. So when we had family dinners at home, of course, they were always at the table. We didn't have a kitchen table. We had only a table, like a dining room table. Right. And on the weekends, he would invite friends down from DC, because we had moved out to Maryland, out along the water. And they loved coming to the house. And the other women would go in the kitchen with my mom and help cook. And the table was filled with food and laughter and lots of music. In fact, I have my father's baby grand piano in my living room. So my kids all play.
How wonderful. They all play.
Yeah.
You are a artistic person. And you've never played by the rules.
No.
Everything, it's always used. If you see something, you're not dependent on anyone else.
No.
Self-sufficient. Mm-hmm. Did what you wanted.
I learned that from my mother, though. She grew up that way. Growing up in the Washington, D.C. area, and then moving out here to the Annapolis area when I was, just a kid, she was shunned as a woman of color. And so she just was tough. She learned to be a toughie and look out for herself. My parents, when I was probably about 12, ultimately got divorced. And then my mother remarried someone from the area who's from the Johns Hopkins family. So we sort of went from rags to riches, like overnight. And he built my mom a huge house on 12 acres of land, and they would grow the things that my mom would love to cook with, and fruit trees and cows and chickens and things like that. So we went from, I remember being the oldest of the four girls in my family, I went from remembering what it was like to live in a house that had maybe 3 rooms to a house that had 7 bathrooms. So we went from one extreme to the other. But you never forget what it's like to make do with everything when you don't have very much. And that probably has stayed with me. I'm very frugal. I'm very resourceful, and I like to recycle a lot of things. And I love shopping at consignment shops. So that's just who I am.
Well, I thank you for sharing that. Your philosophy, I believe, is dreams have no expiration date, which definitely suits you. When we talked 3 years ago, you were developing a show about your life, because you were a hairdresser before all this for like 30 years.
Right.
about the stories that came to your chair
Yeah.
in a very unusual way. And there is a book that you wrote about that
Confessions of a
with,
Hairdresser.
right, everybody,
Yeah.
whiskandine.com. You'll find everything
All
we're
the books.
talking about
Yeah.
here.
Yeah. All the books are there.
I'm just reading just Whiskandine. As you said with Whiskandine, every meal tells a story. So even going back, those stories that came from the table, the only one you had,
Right.
to the big house
Right.
with the garden, a mother who gardened, who grew her own stuff. We now have you sort of have a greenhouse onto your house, don't you?
I
Aren't you?
do. I do. That was a real bonus surprise to this house. It's small, but it's glass, and in the wintertime when it's freezing outside and snow, and there's icicles hanging outside of there, I can go in there and take a cup of tea and start thinking about the seeds I want to start for spring when I want to plant outside. We have an acre of land, and a lot of different parts of the yard are designated for things to grow. But I'm not a person who grows flowers unless they're edible, and if you can't cook with it or eat it, I don't have time for it. So pretty much that's my theory, and that was what inspired my book Dirt to Dish too, because I found that when I work with starting from seeds myself instead of going to local garden shops to get things that are already started, it puts a different perspective on the seasons. And so this book covers all 4 seasons. What are you doing in the wintertime when it's cold? Well, there's always something to do in the wintertime. So the book, it really goes through the seasons all the way through until it's time to start planting outside and what to plant and what to turn it into. I have cocktails with flowers, and I have recipes that um, fun things to grow. So that was a fun book to do.
Well, I want people to know that the multiple recipes that you have on your site. There's one where you did a story about soups around the world, and you can link into that. Where are you going? You know, this looks interesting. That's from Brazil,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that
or
was in
that's
America,
from,
right?
Vietnam,
Right.
or the Philippines. There are multiple recipes.
Uh-huh.
And when you're craving something different, it's a great place to look and see what wets your whistle by looking at it. And especially you do videos to accompany them.
I do.
The Great American Recipe. They've had 2 more seasons since you've been on the show.
Yes, 3. We just finished
Three,
season
the
4, and I was
third.
in season 1. Yeah.
So, have you seen any changes in what they've done, or do you think it stayed sort of true? Or
There've been changes. Um,
keep losing
Unfortunately,
the earphone,
I know it
right?
keeps coming out of my ear. The second season, apparently, when we filmed, we were filming in the end of 2021. So we were still being heavily protected with any risk of COVID. We had medics on set at all times. We were tested every other day. We had to keep a mask on until we were in our spot, and then we dropped it down, which I said, would you please give us an extra minute to put lipstick on before you shoot? So we were very well protected, and no one got sick. By the time we got to the second season, the mandate for flying with masks had dropped. And when people went in to do the show, I think they ended up losing 3 of their people before they actually before they had finished episode 2. So they had to make some changes on how the show was going to go. They ended up keeping everyone until the very end. So there wasn't an elimination with every cook. And then by the time we got to season 4, which just finished in August, they started to eliminate halfway through so that you would be down to just 3 people for the finale. And I think there's more of I know it's not good for those who go early, but it adds an excitement for the viewers to, anticipate which one they picked, and oh, they didn't make it, or oh, they're going through another week. And it engages the viewer a little more than just giving everybody a chance to show what they cook.
You, as I put the description on Facebook when I was promoting you being on the show, are the most competitive person I know. And I want people to know that you're now practicing your baking skills
Oh, gosh.
in hopes,
Yeah.
trying very hard to get on the Great American Baking Show.
I've applied once. I didn't get asked to do it. I haven't applied this year. They've probably already filmed by now. I just recently saw that maybe there's a chance at the Great British Baking Show, which is the one I'd really like to do. My husband is British, and I'm like, doesn't that count, even though we live over here in America? And it doesn't, but I think they may be looking to open up and do something new with the show. So I've watched every episode, and there was a 2-week period of time my husband was traveling, and I spent the 2 weeks binging on 3 seasons of the Great British Baking Show, taking notes, and then practicing everything that I saw that I wanted to learn that I knew nothing about, from laminated doughs to you name it. And it really increased my ability for baking and understanding of baking. And I think the most important thing that I learned out of all of it is that butter has to be cold, but they film the show in a tent outside when it's
in the
hot.
Summer.
So
Right.
yeah, I'm not sure how that goes.
Well, you know, I'm a fan myself. They didn't realize when they started the show that it would be such a phenomenon.
That's true. Yeah,
And it really, really is.
it is.
I wouldn't even consider myself for that because I told you before going on air about my mishmash cake that I made that tasted great but looked horrible.
Oh, put flowers on it. Makes everything look good.
That's fine. You know, these people they just ate steamed crab, so what do they care? Everything was messy to begin with. So we were good to go. A lot of these shows, and I'm wondering if they did it with the Great American, the Great Recipe, the American Recipe Show. Did they have a psychologist speak with you?
No, but I know that some of the other programs like that take 3 months to film, Top Chef or Master Chef or some of the ones with Gordon Ramsay, I know they do because it is much more grueling. Whereas when we were doing the Great American Recipe, you really felt like you were there with family cooking, but you had your own little kitchen. Almost every season has said that the contestants have stayed in contact with each other, texting and following what the others are doing. So it's a totally different feel. PBS put out something that feels a little bit different than the really hard competitions.
Right. It's more about the foods that you grew up with. It's about the American
Stories.
your family coming to America, because it's usually very cross-pollinated with international
Very much so.
cooking and locals. The one that, okay, I shouldn't say this. Somebody who won this year was just American, grew up in America, didn't have a big ethnic background, but grew up in the South.
He did.
He did.
He did. In fact, I was so fortunate. He sent me a package of his spices. I've never done Cajun cooking. So he sent a package to me, and I was so excited. I fused his Southern Cajun spices with my Middle Eastern lamb and came up with a fabulous dish of the two together. And it's on my blog, so it's fun.
I know you like to eat at home. You're not a big restaurant goer.
I don't enjoy restaurants. No. Well, that's all I'm going to say.
Okay. Well, you know where the food, when you make it, you know the sources and where it came from. I understand that. So we are down to my last questions. I think I've covered most that I wanted to cover. Okay. And people can go back to the YouTube channel. You'll find links to that. or in JMore. You can go to JMore. All the shows, all 254, 255 are on JMore's website. And you can go back and watch the original show where we covered a couple different things. So I have usual questions I ask at the end of the show.
Okay.
But I already asked them previously.
Okay.
So I was trying to come up with maybe a couple that were a little bit different.
Oh boy.
Oh
Okay.
boy. This is not a hard one.
Okay.
Okay. What are the 2 musts that have to be in your refrigerator?
Always eggs. I just feel like eggs are everything from savory to sweet to beauty treatments. So always eggs. Probably for me, plain yogurt. A plain yogurt is always in there. It lends itself to cakes and breads, sauces, salads. So probably those 2.
Dips.
Those, yeah.
Yep, going along with that.
Tzatziki
All right.
dip, yep.
All right. What's the best bite you've had all this week?
Oh boy. This week, of course, Labor Day weekend just passed, so there's been a lot of everything. Gosh, we've had mackerel, we've had crabs, we've had kebabs. I don't know. I've cooked them all, and I really don't remember them all. I know. I tried something new I've never made before. I've got beautiful hummingbirds outside my house, and I know it's time for them to migrate. And someone said, well, you should do a hummingbird cake. And I'm like, what is that? And so as I researched it, I said, I'm doing a hummingbird cupcake. And I want it to be all out tropical, adding rum to it. And instead of decorating it in the Southern style with pecans, which were in the cake, I wanted edible flowers, the flowers that the hummingbirds came all the way up here to eat while they were here.
Oh, wonderful.
So that was I think that was probably my most fun recipe this whole week.
Okay, is that up on your site?
It's on my site. It is. Video,
Okay.
stories, even got the hummingbird in midair.
That's great. What is your top indulgence?
My top indulgence.
When you crave something, what do you some people crave chocolate, some people crave salty things, some people have to have ice cream. What is your indulgence?
Homemade breads. Hands down. I could live off just homemade breads because you can put so many things in them that are healthy, but salt. I'm a salt eater, so I like coarse salt on top. So, yeah, it would be bread.
Okay. And my final question, what didn't I ask you that I probably should have?
You are such a fun interviewer and person to talk to off camera that I don't think you missed a thing.
Well, thank you so much. Hopefully, if you think of anything, just everybody whisk and dine. If you can spell whisk, the word and dine, put it together, put a .com.
There you go.
And we've had a lot come up with the link to the video we talked about for your new show that you're developing to your website.
Find me a producer for that. We need a producer, and then we need to sell it to a network. So that's next.
Okay, everyone.
Let's find it.
You got a little loose change, she could use it. Let's send it along. I thank you so much, Robin. Great reconnecting. We shouldn't let it go 3 years.
No.
Again.
Okay.
You can have me on your show when it gets produced.
Absolutely. Yes, you're going to do the opening lines for us. Tell us where we're going, what we're doing, and who's cooking.
Okay. You got it.
Let's do it.
You got it.
Okay.
Thank you, Robin.
Thank you.
All righty. Let's check in and see what's going to go on for next week. All righty. Next week, guest will be Andrew Little, one of 3 partners in the development of Gold Holly. Their mission is to revolutionize American caffeine with a native plant that's better for you and better for the planet. Gold Holly Organic American Super Tea is deliciously caffeinated USDA certified organic tea made from 100% American grown Yaupon holly. We will be answering a number of questions as to how the 3 young men brought the product to market and how you can get it. Feel free to reach out to me via my email, which is food@jmoreliving.com. My Instagram is @DaraCooks. And I also have a um, losing in my breath here. Food Enthusiast page on Facebook, the Food Enthusiast. You can find us there as well. You can sign up at jmoreliving.com for their free bi-monthly This Week in Baltimore Eating newsletter. It has recipes, local food news, and videos from the Food Enthusiast. Go to the website, jmoreliving.com, click on the Connect button on the website, and you'll be able to fill out the form. Or if you look at my video, which will be up there momentarily, usually underneath the video on J More Living, this video and all other videos, you have a link to connect there. All our shows are immediately archived in video form on J More Living's Facebook page and jmoreliving.com. We truly appreciate it when you share our show with friends and family. Feel free to go back into our archives and enjoy past shows. May your plates always, always remain full. We look forward to seeing you next Thursday.